We just saw a stock do the biggest move the entire year. This is going to be probably my biggest trade ever. And I did not expect it to be at all. Pretty nuts. It's not Amazon. It's not Tesla. It's not Facebook or Meta. It is this small Chinese company that went from $7.50 to a high of now $260 per share in a single day. And I bought it at $7.50 per share. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my strategy of how I trade stocks like this, how I get in at the lowest price possible, and how I'm able to hold for the biggest move possible. Because most people, they don't know how to hold and have patience for those big moves. So what happens is that they might have winners, but they can't let them run. And the losers end up being bigger than the winners, and they're now losing traders. I want to change that for you and teach you how to have the patience by using simple technical analysis to hold on for these stocks for their entire move. I know for a fact that if you stick through this video with me, you will be a better trader and you will know how to hold your winners for longer, because that's what I specialize in. So with that being said, make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy this video, hit the subscribe button to be notified of future lessons, and let's just jump right into it. So we're going to break down this amazing stock where, was long this morning. First long I took was at 750s, just after the break over the pre-market high. And this was a bit of a different setup, right? Like usually most of my trades, I don't like buying the breakout, but I've come to terms that there is one specific situation where I'm okay with buying the breakout, and we'll break that down in this lesson, right? Because most of my stocks, I like to wait for it to break out and then pull back and then buy the dip. But there is one specific scenario where I do like technically buying the breakout, but it still is, very managed. I still manage my risk. I still plan the trade. And of course, I still lock in partial profits along the way. So TOP, this was not on the scanner. It was not on my watch list. It kind of just showed up out of nowhere. Down here, yeah, you can see right here. I just saw it. 9:45, just a bit earlier. You can see it was showing up on the scanner. Yeah, so there was no news on TOP. No news, but it's just is a low float. You can see it floats only 5 million shares. So TOP, when I first noticed it, I kind of noticed that, well, number one, it has a very obvious pre-market high, right? That's like the number one thing I want to see. Whenever I'm trading a stock after market open, the number one thing I look for is there a pre-market high level that I can use as a basis for a trade? Because if it doesn't have that, then it's just no edge, right? There's no reason to touch it. But also kind of subconsciously almost, I didn't notice this like right away, but I kind of just could tell it had some pretty good range. And by range, I just mean like how much the stock moves within its candles, right? So within these candles, you can see this candle, like this 5-minute candle, went from a high of 755 to a low of 650. So it had a range of $1 per share. So it's moving pretty volatilely. And then you can see it had this kind of breakout. Now, okay, just bear with me. I'm going to show the 1-minute chart. Don't get scared. I'm just showing it just for the pure analysis of the play-by-play of the price action, okay? So you can see that the stock was breaking out through the pre-market high. So this is the one situation where to me it is worthwhile to actually, technically buy the breakout. It's only when stocks halt through the pre-market high. Because just from a sense of time, it technically is like a breakout, right? And then there's a pause in trading because of the halt. So, it's a breakout, has a pause, and then it pulls back. In terms of actual trades, it definitely is just a breakout and like a micro pullback. But in terms of how traders psychologically kind of look at the play and their emotions in it, it does kind of have the act or the feeling of it's a breakout, it's pulling back, testing support. And also with this trade here in specific, it had a very clean pre-market resistance. So you can plan to go long off that at 750. Had a very clean max loss level, pretty close by down here at 680. And then for the first target, because I was buying the breakout, I definitely wanted to, be careful of locking in partials too soon. So the first thing I did was just look at kind of these daily chart levels, right? So you can see that this has a pretty damn good daily chart, right? We had this big red day. I'm not sure what happened back here in October, but it had this massive red day. And then ever since then, it's been kind of just in this basin, right? Near $5. Prior to that though, if you just use the chart, the line chart, just to mark off levels of previous support as new resistance, there are some very obvious levels, right? You can see first level right here, this big support area right near 907. So that's the first target. So just off that, right? If you use the trade planner, which once again, you need to be using this on every single trade. If you use this trade planner and you follow it on every single trade, you will literally never blow up. It'll be impossible to actually blow up an account. You might have, you know, a slow bleed if you're like the worst trader ever. If you just follow this, then you will be profitable no matter what. It's like almost guaranteed. So right now I'm trading with like a $45,000 account. So you can see entry price, we just use these numbers, right? 755, max loss 680, first target 907. So you can see just off these numbers, this is a really good trade to take because you could take 1,200 shares, which is, you know, pretty decent size. At your first partial, you only have to sell about half of your position to cover and make $900, make your max loss back. So then you have left over half your shares to ride the thing further. This is what is so powerful about this trade planner is that it literally just plans the trade for you and makes it so that whenever you do have a winning trade, you cover your max losses, right? At least for me, because I'm not that, you know, high of a win rate trader, my win rate's about 45% right now. So it's important for me to always make sure I have these rules in place to take those profits to cover those trades that do hit my max loss. Most trades don't, but some do. So use this. I use this every single day. Use it, abuse it. It is like hands down the best thing I've ever developed for trading. Then from there, you can see next levels after this. It's not really clear. You can kind of see this daily chart line near 2080s, but you know, at this point, I said, okay, I'm just going to use the weekly chart. You can see there's kind of a, you know, weekly line right near this area here, near like $10. Also that round psychological number. Next level on the weekly charts up near $20. Then after that, it goes up to like 36.70s. And then all-time high on the weekly line chart is near $43. And the actual all-time high, we'll just mark it off right now, is just above $50. So you can see, you know, when you're charting this, you can see that it has very wide resistance points, right? It's not like it has 5 levels of resistance at, you know, 9, 910, 920, 930, 940, and it's very thick. Like once it breaks through a level, it has dollars to run. So this shows you that it has massive range like we spoke about in pre-market. And you can see that like the morning price action, it kind of follows along that same theme, right? Because it's moving very volatilely. It has big range. And this big range is supported by the bigger picture also having big range. So that is a stock that has, you know, massively explosive potential. So then from there, right, once you're long, it's all about just locking in partials along the way, right? So if you look at the chart I posted on Twitter, I locked in the partial at $9, locked in the partial at $10. And then from there, you have to understand like where you are positioned within a move, right? All moves are going to look something like this, where maybe there's resistance, right? And then there's a breakout. And then it's going to eventually pull back and then it's going to maybe continue, right? So in the case of this trade here, I bought into the breakout, right? Because that's pretty much what I did. I bought into this breakout right here. So I knew that it's going to have a big spike and it's going to pull back. But just because it pulls back, it does not mean it's dead. It doesn't mean it's done, right? It's just one pullback. You can see, if you look at thousands of charts, you'll realize that stocks can spike, pull back, make a higher low, spike up, pull back, and it can make a trend. I knew that, hey, eventually this squeeze is going to be done. It's not going to keep on going forever and then just, you know, fall like a pump and dump. It's going to pull back, but as long as it pulls back and holds support, it is just a pullback and you have to hold through it. So this is one of those cases where like using a trailing stop on stocks like this really makes you miss the bigger move, right? It makes you not confident in like just letting the stock do its move, right? Because I'm sure most of you probably wouldn't have the gut and the confidence to watch a stock go from 15 bucks and drop down to 10 bucks and not sell anything. All right, so real quick, before we get further into this lesson, could you do me a quick favor and hit the like button for YouTube algo? Also, I post daily on Twitter about trading stocks like TOP, so make sure to go follow me over there. I'm also on Instagram and everywhere else too, so go follow me over there too. But I just held through it, right? Because I knew technically, hey, this could pull back all the way down to 750 and it could still be bullish. It would suck, but it's just the way it goes. That's just how the market is structured. So I held through this bounce. Eventually, it popped back up and it broke out through 15. So now here, if you didn't trade off of 750, here, once this broke out, is like when your freaking alarm should have been sounding off of like, oh my God, I need to plan a trade here. And once again, you need to avoid thinking about the actual dollar range and just focus on making a plan. So obviously once this broke out, right? Broke out, ran to 20 bucks. I locked in the partial here too. But now you can see we have a very clear trend form, right? And then it just goes back to the basic rules. Previous resistance is where? At 15 bucks. Where's the next support lower? It's down at 1050s. So just off those two levels, you can plan a trade, right? You could just go back into the trade planner. So you have a account size of like even like, let's just say $5,000, doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what you put in here. You go long, say you go long 15.15, max loss 10.55, first target 21. You can buy 22 shares. You could easily afford that with a $5,000 account, right? That's pretty cheap. And then you know that, okay, at your first level at 21 bucks, you lock in 17 shares. And just off doing that, like you grow the account guaranteed by 100 bucks. And then you have about 5-6 shares left over for the bigger move. It's not a great trade, but you can still plan a trade here, right? And following these, rules in this trade planner, like, yes, you're not going to grow as much as, say you went all in at 15 bucks. Yeah, you would have, had a massive trade on this one. But this, like I said in the beginning, makes it so that you literally cannot blow up. It is impossible to blow up if you follow just this simple calculator. So boom, new trade planned. So from here, I was like, hey, you know what? I think this is a very good stock. I'm going to add back in. So I did the same thing where I just planned a new trade going long at 15.15, max loss at 10.50s, and first target 21 bucks. And I just planned a whole new trade and I added it back into it. So I just left a limit buy at 15.15 and I just waited for it to pull back. And it took a while to pull back. It slowly did, but eventually it did. You can see here, it had one candle that bottomed at like 15.29. And the thing is, for me, whenever I have a plan and I have my limit buy out there, I don't move it. Even if it seems like, oh, look, it bounced 5 cents higher, I just stick with it. And eventually it pulled back, bottomed at 15 bucks. I got filled. And then we had a whole new trade. And then from here, it just is a matter of waiting, right? As long as your trade plan holds true, you need to stick with the trade. By the way, top right now, $59 per share. Oh my gosh. This is going to be probably my biggest trade ever. And I did not expect it to be at all. Pretty nuts. Once you're in the trade, right? It's all about just as long as previous resistance can hold as new support, you stick with the plan, no matter how long it takes, no matter how scary it seems. You don't want to try to predict. Don't try to protect yourself. Don't lock in the small green profit. None of that, BS. It's not worth it. Because even here, right, I was kind of concerned that, hey, you know what? It's not bouncing that great. And it started to kind of sell off back downwards. And I got kind of concerned that, hey, this is probably going to not break out. But I said, you know what? No matter what happens, I know my risk. I'm just going to wait and see. I'm not going to predict. Eventually, it held support. It retested and held, which was a nice double bottom. And then, sure enough, afternoon, it broke out, halted, and squeezed. Locked in the partial at 20 bucks, locked in the partial at 36.50s. And I haven't locked in any more yet. And now we're up at 56 bucks. I don't have that many shares left. I have I think 100 shares left, but from an average of like 1180, I think. So we're sitting pretty good. I I mean, we're up, 40 something dollars per share. If you didn't capitalize on this morning trade, it was pretty hard to. There was a, brain dead easy setup right here, right? No crazy indicators, no wild formulas needed, right? Just super simple, straightforward. Previous resistance as new support. Take the risk. Use the trade planner to calculate your size so you don't get oversized, right? Because most traders who look at this would say, hell no, I'm not buying this and risking down to 1050. I'd lose like 30%. Like, yeah, it's because you're sizing in wrong, right? You have to use the tools that we give you to size accordingly. And you can still make a, awesome trade out of it, right? Because imagine if you locked in, like say you were, that trader with like a $5,000 account, you had 5 shares left over, but now you're up, $40 per share on those 5 shares. That's a big trade, right? It's going to grow your account massively. And that's all it's about, right? Letting your winners run and keeping your losses small and managed. That's all it's about. All right, so that's pretty much it for today's lesson. Hopefully these tips and tricks will help you better learn how to hold stocks for longer and how to hold your winning trades for longer by using that simple idea of just watching the 5-minute chart and using previous resistance as new support. If you can do this and just stay patient with the setups, you will be a more profitable trader, all right? So with that being said, I do have a whole trading community where I am the lead trader and mentor, and I teach hundreds and thousands of traders how to trade stuff like this and how to be self-sufficiently profitable. If you want to join us, we have a free 14-day trial to get access to all of our content. So just click the first link down below. We also have a free course where you can just get all of my content right away for free. No strings attached. I just need your email address to send it to you. So click that link to get it. And if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll get back to you ASAP. That being said, have a great day and see you in the next video.